Tell me what is a group?
Group
Ma'am,
is
group
a
refers.
Uh, hmm.
You
Group
tell.
refers to,
You tell, ma'am.
hmm. You tell. What is your idea about a group? Group means
No, ma'am. I'm
Dara.
not telling you. I'm telling
oh
Jyotirmay, ma'am.
oh,
Jyotirmay,
don't
yeah,
call me
Jyotirmay
ma'am.
ma'am. Sure.
Okay,
Uh,
ma'am, I think group is a collection of people
it's a
not
collection
working
of
for a
people
common goal.
working for a common goal. Not,
Not
it's
working for a
not,
common goal. When they work
uh,
for a common goal, then it becomes a team.
it becomes a team. Okay. Any other features or any other characteristics of group?
Ma'am, group is a combination of people. They're staying together. We can say they work together.
They are in close physical proximity, or they interact, or they have face-to-face interaction. Uh, One of the feature is face-to-face interaction, or they stay in a close proximity. Hmm. Any other features? Sumitra?
Yes, ma'am.
Any other features of a group?
No, ma'am.
They work and grow together.
Hmm. They work and grow together. It's a congregation of people. And
Yes, ma'am.
one more thing Jyotirmoy ma'am told, that is, mm, they usually they don't work for a common goal. Hmm?
Because that's
Yes,
how
ma'am.
we
Different
differentiate a group from team. That is the only difference between a team and a group.
team is,
The team has
the
a
team
common
is
goal,
also
whereas a group
uh,
doesn't have a common goal. People can have
common goal.
individual goals in a group.
Okay, okay, huh. No,
Thank you, ma'am.
group and team. Team is also a type of group. We cannot differentiate team from a group.
Yes, ma'am.
Team, committee, functional group, gang, mob, crowd, all these things come under a group. The overall concept or a broader concept or a broader name given to all these things is group. So group is usually a collection of people, as you say, there are more than two people or more than one people. Uh, and another thing is they interact with each other. They have a common goal. They have a common interest. They have a common motive. And they recognize that they belong to that group. I am a member of this group. I am fifth year student. I am an academician. I am a girl. I am a club member. These are the things they say on their own, or they recognize that they are the member of their group, and mm, they usually perform. They are given different roles in the group. They perform those roles, and this group usually satisfy their psychological as well as social needs. This gives us a identity. This is my group identity. I get a self identity by becoming a member of that group. I am a follower of what is that, Baba? Ramdev Ji Maharaj. I am a mm, I am a Christian. I am a singer. These are the identity we get from a group. And there is usually a link among the members of the group. They are interdependent. They are linked. There is interaction among the members of the group for the smooth running of the group, or for the functioning of the group. There should be interaction. Different roles are given to the people. Different norms are there. They have to abide by the norms. This is what a group means. Okay. So, what are the features of a group? What are the features of a group? When there is one or more individual come together to influence each other, it is known as a group. This is the first feature where people come to influence each other, help each other, work in collaboration, in cooperation with each other. There is social interaction and relationship among the member of the group. There is, if you are a member of a group, you must be having some sort of social interaction, whether it is through your now in this age of technology, usually we are having WhatsApp group. Hmm? This is the best example, WhatsApp group, where
Yes, ma'am.
we even if we don't interact face to face, we have some interaction among us in that group. We have some nature lover group in our Facebook. We are member of some literary group. We are member of some culinary group. This is how we are having interaction. We are having some relation. And one more thing is there exists some common motives, drives, interest, emotion among the member of the group. We actually share a common interest. That's why we give a name school girls group, because the commonness here is we are from the same school. 92 batch group. Just a minute. 92 batch group. We belong to 92 batch group. Boys group 92. Now, boys of 92. This is the commonality among the member of the group, and they usually have a common purpose, motive, and they usually interact among themselves. And another feature is there is communication among the group members. If it is a online group or a virtual group, then it is through some verbal communication. Even some non-verbal communication also takes place within the group. When we are interacting face to face, we usually indulge in non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication means what? It refers to communication that doesn't use any type of words, either written or spoken. We use some body language to know each other's
Yes,
feelings.
ma'am.
We use some gesture. We use some time
Actually,
frame.
ma'am, we frame it like the communication that is independent of language is known as non-verbal communication.
Non-verbal language, non-verbal communication, where there is no use of words or any language. It is through either body posture, we can say the intonation, the stress we use in our sentences. Sentence can also be a form of non-verbal communication. Is it? Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am. That is a part of paralanguage.
Paralanguage, where we
Yes.
are using the words or we are making some sound, and that
Yes, that
is
is
the
non-verbal
form of
communication.
non-verbal communication. Even
Whistling,
not responding is
clapping, those
also
are,
a form of clapping these. Even not
yes,
responding is also a form of communication.
communication. Yes.
Remaining silent is also a form. So within the group, we usually exchange ideas. We usually communicate, whether it is a verbal communication or non-verbal communication. Then another one thing is the common group members have some common object of attention, or they stimulate each other. They have common loyalty and they participate in similar activities. Usually, a group is formed for a particular purpose or some particular activity, and all the members participate in a cooperative manner to achieve that activity. And usually, that activity is of a similar nature, diverse. Suppose we are a member of literary group, we won't be playing, or half of the members will be interested in playing chess, and half of the members will be interested in writing poem or any literary piece of work. That doesn't happen. Usually, the interest is common or the activity is always similar. There is always a feeling of unity in the group. As a group, we feel we united. There is a we feeling. The I feeling vanishes and we feeling develops, and we feel as we are united. We feel we are Indian. We are united. Now it's the time to fight against the Chinese by um, rejecting the Chinese goods. Though we cannot go to the border to fight with the Chinese, we Indians here we are using the top. We Indians that is due to the feeling of unity within the group, and we treat each other with respect, regard, and has a sense of friendship that develops among us. Unless until we have respect among us, the person who, if we don't give respect to each other within the group will not sustain. The person who is being humiliated, who is being criticized, he will go out of the group. So there is usually a minimum degree of respect and regard within the group. And there are some rules, regulations, norms set by the group that is being followed by all the members of the group. So we can say the group members are being controlled by the norms developed within the group or the rules, regulations, and laws of the group. And there are some customs, laws, procedures that are accepted by everyone and that is being followed by everyone. Suppose uh, suppose I am some during this lockdown period, all of you must have experienced that the in your group there was some challenge, sari challenge. This we can say as a type of custom. The custom that is just a minute. Custom, am I audible?
Yes, yes, ma'am. You're audible to me.
Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
I was using earphone. That's when I did.
That's why
So
the volume is very low, it seems.
volume is low. Shall I
No,
use
still then we
the
can hear you.
you can. Then, if you are facing any problem, tell me. I'll put the earphone.
Okay, ma'am.
That sound is rebounding. That's why I removed the earphone. Okay. We usually follow the custom, and when one of your friends challenged you to put a red sari, all of you started posting photos wearing red sari. Those who are obeying the rules of your group. So these are the features of a group, or this is what a group means. Then we will discuss about the characteristics or features of a group independently or distinctly. There is a sense of we feeling within the group, and we feel as if we are a member of the group or we are a part of the group. There is a feeling of belongingness among all the members of the group. And usually we help each other in doing the group activities. We help each other when somebody is in trouble, and we collectively fight against the outsiders or outgroup members, harmful powers within the harmful powers that attack our group. And there is usually a common interest. Another feature is the second feature is there is common interest, and we work cooperatively to get that common interest fulfilled. And another is the feeling of unity. Unity is the first feature of the group, or this is one of the most important feature. We should feel we united, and we should feel the other member as ours. He is my member, he is mine, he is my friend, and I have to help him. I have to come forward to protect him. and each member of the group are related to each other. If it's a group, there is a reciprocal communication among the group members, and that we have discussed already. Then another one is common values. Certain values are common among the members of the group, and these are traditionally respected. And even these values, these norms are communicated to our succeeding generation. And these values make us more powerful. Then another one is control of group. The group is controlled by, as I said, some rules, regulations, and norms. The eighth feature is obligation. In a group, all members have complementary obligation. We are obliged to each other. We are obliged to each other, and this is through this mutual obligation and sharing of the values, the group gets strengthened. And the ninth feature is expectation. We usually expect some love, cooperation, empathy, help from the group members, and this is one of the important feature of the group. Can you give me some example of group? Hmm?
Ma'am, social group, we can say the people live in a common society, share a common rituals or cultures. Um,
Mhm.
that's a kind of social group.
Uh-huh.
And you give the example of following some philosophers like um, Ravi Shankar, or something, or
Okay.
they are a group, Lord
It's
Sarathy
a
or
social
something.
group.
They are playing a same. It's
Uh, uh,
And ma'am,
in
it will be
society,
very
or
practical.
we
Jyotirmay ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, please don't call me ma'am. So embarrassing. I'm
Okay.
a student of you. You can call me Jyoti. I don't mind at all.
no man, you
Okay.
And I certainly don't look
deserve
like
this.
Ma'am, I'm saying like colonies, the colonies we are living in, the localities we belong to, they are also like groups because we live and work with them as well. Can we not count them as groups?
These are also groups. But I am asking about a name given to a particular group. Okay.
Uh,
I can say my
the
classroom is a
political
group.
parties.
Can
Political parties, yes, yes, political parties, they are groups.
ma'am,
Family is
can we
one.
emphasize group?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Family is the basic group.
Family
Yes.
is the basic group, the primary, the first group we interact with. Our school, our classroom,
Hello, ma'am.
yes, our classroom. I am from standard 1C.
Yes,
Standard 1C is the group. And again, there are small groups within the class 1C. I am a 50th student, or I am
yes,
a
ma'am. Can
40th
we just
student.
emphasize NGO groups?
NGOs are also groups.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
NGOs are also some groups, and clubs, the Netaji Subhash
Yes,
Club,
ma'am.
that can be a group. The members who are staying in a particular building, they form a group. Uh, suppose
So, ma'am,
clubhouse.
we are living in a colony. They develop a committee. Can we consider as them as a group?
That is also a group. You are forming, some people are staying in a particular area, you are sharing the geographic location, you are sharing the common values,
Yes, ma'am.
you are following or you are celebrating all the functions together. You, if the colony or the people staying in that area, they face any problem, you work collectively to solve the problem. When somebody or some outsider boy um, teaches a girl of your colony, all of you start fighting with that girl, that notorious boy,
Yes, ma'am.
to protect your group member or the girl from your group.
Girl.
That can also be a group. We can say um, Tata. Tata is a group. That is a big group, and if there are very small groups or small group within Tata company. That is a company actually, but Tata group.
Yes, ma'am. But
This means that we belong
ma'am,
to
not only
Tata.
Tata.
Uh,
Yes, ma'am. But not only Tata, like finance companies or some other companies,
Yes,
private limited
I
companies are
didn't.
there.
I have told you a name.
Ma'am,
That is
can we
Tata.
some of like groups differ from dimension? Like it can be a small one, it can be a big one, but they have some common
Uh,
interest and
uh,
mutual
uh,
collaboration.
there is common interest, or they have a common interest, motive, common values, and they are mutually interdependent. They abide by the rule. They abide by the group rule. That is one of the important features. There is a common rule for all the members of that group. For standard 1C, the class teacher has set some rules, and the students of class 1C have to follow that rule. Even the school has some rules, all the students 1 to 10, all the students, they have to follow the rule. And when we utter the name of our school, we usually utter it with some pride that I am from this school, I am from that school. It gives us a self identity. So this is what a group is. So,
So, ma'am, basically, each and every group, each and every group members have the identity of that group.
have the identity of that group, and a single individual can be a member of different groups. I am a
Okay,
student
ma'am.
of class 1C. That doesn't mean I am not a member of any other group. I may be a member of the sport association of my school. I may be a member of debate uh, committee of our group, of our school. I am a member of my family. That is also a group. I am a member of my colony, and I am a member of class 1C. So a single member can be a member of different groups, even different interests. If I am having a variety of interests, my interest is, and even contradictory. Some interests are seen in the people who are introverts. Some interests are hobbies can be seen in the people who are extrovert. I may be having both type of quality. I may be a member of a but paragliding group. At the same time, I may be a member of a photography group. I may be a member of a literary group. Okay, and
Yes,
at the
ma'am.
same time I
Yes,
am a member of class sixth semester, second semester, or fifth year or sixth year.
yes, ma'am.
So this is what group is. Now we can discuss these qualities or features of the group, taking the example of family. Actually, the primary group is our family, and we all are members of our family. So how we interact among ourselves. There is always a reciprocal relationship between us within our family. We have a we feeling, and anyone outside our family is known as the outsider or someone from outer group. And we are related by different names, parent or father child, or father daughter, husband wife, brother sister. We are usually interdependent, and we work towards a common goal or interest, that is to keep our family healthy, happy, wealthy, and successful. this is the main interest or goal of our family. You can give or you can identify the other goals we are having as a family. And our family has a particular type of rule. We follow some rules in our family. On Mondays, we don't take non-veg. That is a common rule that has been followed by all the families. We usually take bath by 9:30 every morning. There is a rule in our family that we all have to wake up by 6:30. In some other family, there is rule that everybody has flexibility in waking up. Everybody has flexibility in taking veg or non-veg. So in our family also we have a set of rule or regulation or norms that we follow. Okay, so this is what a group is, and what are the characteristics of a group. Then we will come to how a group is formed. There are different stages the group crosses, and at the end it adjourns. But not all group dissolve or adjourn. Family never dissolve. Family is a permanent group. But there are different stages, and these stages can be known as, or these stages are forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. Adjourning is not for all the groups, but rest four are for each and every group. So what is forming? What is forming? Tell me.
Ma'am, forming basically means to create.
Forming is something related to creating, developing, creating, or initiation of anything. So this is the initial stage, and like all forming or first stage, it is also characterized by confusion and uncertainty. In the first stage there is confusion. Leave or don't think about family. For rest of the group, you can take the example. Suppose when you entered your PG class, when your PG class, the first day of PG class, that was the day when there was confusion, there was anonymity. You didn't know each other. There was some confusion, and gradually that cleared. You all came to know each other. You started to share your expectation. You started to share your goal. You started to, what was your goal in the PG class?
Ma'am, to listen lecture.
To listen lectures. That was the duty of activity. That was your duty of the activity.
That's certainly a lie.
No, ma'am.
No.
You told about the first class. So
First class. What you did in your first class? In the first class itself, you set your goal. Your goal in the first class was to get the syllabus, to get the timetable.
yes, ma'am.
So
Yes, ma'am.
you can prepare for the exam and pass your 5th year class and go to 6th year.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Or you will complete your PG. That was the goal. So by the end of first day or by the end of first week of your PG class, the confusion, the uncertainty vanished, and you started to know each other. You became aware about what you are going to do, how you are going to operate, what are the rules of your university. But suppose, Sumitra, you are from Ravenshaw University, na?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Suppose for your PG you have joined Utkal University and you don't know the rules,
Yes.
regulations. Different students
Yes,
from
ma'am.
different colleges are there, and there is no group. You only know the name of your group, that is the newcomers to this department. At that time, the
Yes,
name
ma'am.
was newcomer. And there is a lot of confusion, there is lot of uncertainty, you don't know each other, and this is the stage of forming, and gradually you know each other, and the rest of the thing you come to know about the rules regulations of Utkal University. You come to know what you have to do, your activity, your role. These are the stage of forming. Then is the second stage, that is storming. Storming. What is storming? Or what are the characteristics, or what must be the characteristics of storming? Hmm? During this is the second stage, when there is disagreement, when there is conflict, when there is expression of views, criticism occurs during this stage. There is interpersonal conflict among the member of the group. There is differences of opinion, what to do, what not to do, how to do. No, this is better for us. No, that is better for us. We should have a meeting on Saturday. No, Saturday is a off day. I won't be able to come to the meeting. Huh? So in the second stage, that is the storming stage, if we are going to conduct some activity, we have take the example of a core group within your class which will be conducting the puja, Saraswati Puja of your department. So you form a core group within the group of 50 year students or 60 year students, or combinedly 50 year, some members of 50 year and 60 year students form the group, and you will be conducting the puja. In the first stage, you don't know what to do. You are in a confusing state. At that time, the group is formed. Once the group is formed and you are clear about your goals, there arises conflict, disagreement, differences of opinion. No, we will do chuda ghasa. We will have chuda ghasa as our prasad. No, we will have some fruits as our prasad. Chuda ghasa will be wasted. Nobody likes it. This type of disagreement occurs. Then this is the stage of storming. And at what time the puja will be held? What should be the dress, or is there any dress code, is there any color code, how, what should be the invitation format, and who will do the puja. This is all these things happen during the storming stage. Once this is decided, then comes the third stage. During the third stage, or that is known as storming, forming is gone, storming is gone. Now it is the stage of norming. During this stage, the confusions vanish, the differences of opinion vanishes or resolve, and you come to a conclusion, or a norm is set. Now different responsibilities are assigned to each individual, and the individual becomes aware about his or her own responsibility, what he is expected to do, and what type of cooperation he needs from others, and the role he is given is also being accepted by the others. Suppose during the storming stage, what happens? Suppose one of your friends who is very weak in maths or calculation is given the role of looking after the budget calculation of your puja committee. Then there will be differences of opinion, there will be opposition to give that role to that boy or that girl. But during norming stage, all these things are resolved, and you choose the one who is best, or who is the most appropriate for this type of role. Then next stage is, once the norm is set, when the laws are set, when the timing is set, I'm giving you the example of your puja committee. And once all these things are set, then comes the fourth stage, that is the performing stage. And every group is there to achieve some goal. But I said that there is a common interest or motive or common goal for the people to achieve. In some groups, by achieving the goals, we achieve our goal also, right? In a team, while achieving the goal of the team, we achieve our goal, or individual goals are also satisfied or achieved. And during this performing stage, actual performance takes place. By that time, the group gets matured. By that time, rules are clear, and we attain a feeling of cohesiveness. We achieve a feeling of cohesiveness, and we take decision through a rational process. There is no more conflict, there is no more confusion, there is no more differences of opinion or any opposition in the group. We take the decision in a matured way, in a rational way, and we usually focus on the issues that are to be achieved rather than being emotional and start quarreling or start arguing among us. And the group now focuses on its task, goal, how to get those goals achieved, or how to do the work effectively and in a better way, smoothly, how the group will achieve its goal. This is the performing stage. And for some groups, there is a adjourning stage, like your puja committee of your department, of who will conduct the Saraswati Puja, or who is being formed to conduct the Saraswati Puja, and that has to be adjourned, not a family. Family is never adjourned. And suppose your class, fifth year class, after a particular time, your fifth year or your PG classes dissolve. There is no more a group. People go to their own places. They join different other courses, or they join the job. And this is the last stage. And this is during this adjourning stage, there is usually a feeling of closure and sadness as the members start to leave, or they get prepared to leave the group, and this is the final stage of the group. Once you achieve your objective, once you achieve your goals, you start to dissolve, or uh, the group starts to dissolve. There is no more a group, and this is usually emotionally laden stage, and people feel sad as they are getting separated. So what is a group? It's a collection of individuals where two or more persons interact with each other. They share common goals, and they recognize that they belong to a particular group. And this group help them to satisfy their psychological, their social needs. How a group satisfies the psychological and social needs? Can you tell me?
Yes, ma'am. About psychological needs, when we are in a group, we can share our sadness or something, our problems to our other members, so that they are able to solve our problems or something like that. Or what about the other, ma'am?
Social needs.
Social needs. Yes, ma'am. Social needs. Yes, ma'am. They are also the group formation of a group, or being a member of a group, that also helps to solve our social problems. You told give the example of the girl who is scolded by other boys, notorious boys like that. That also example of social comfortableness.
Uh,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. By psychological need here we mean that we want to be a member of group. Through the member we get a self identity, a self concept, a social identity we get, and group is the one which gives us this social identity. And
Ma'am,
uh,
the
uh,
emotional support we get, or emotional support we
that's
give,
good.
the That can be a part of this psychological
Psychological.
support.
We can share our sorrow, we can share our happiness, we can share our problems, and we get some emotional support from the peer of the group, or from the friends of the group, or from the members of the groups, that I am not alone to fight this struggle, or I am not alone to face my problem. There is a social group, and this is usually known as social support. Social support, which is one of the important capital we should have, or social support is one of the important things that help us to fight our problems, or first help us to overcome our struggle. And social, a human being is a social being. He has some social needs. He has a need to be a member of a group. He wants to interact with others. He wants to make friends with others. He wants to share things with others. He has a tendency to take help, or he needs help from others, and this way social needs are satisfied through group. And different person perform different types of tasks. They are given different roles in the group, and they perform their role in the group. And another thing is that I have not told you till now, that is, you in a group we usually choose a person as a leader, and he becomes the leader and rest become the followers. Either we choose one as leader, or someone emerges from our group as a leader, or someone is appointed as a leader in our group. In every group you will find a leader. Sometimes he is elected, sometimes he is selected, sometimes uh, out of our unspoken consent, he emerges as a leader of the group. And interaction among the group, or communication among the group members, is very important, or is the fuel that helps the group to run smoothly. So this is about your group. Now come to the theories of group formation. Now you know, or you we have discussed about the stages of group formation. Now we will discuss about the theories of group formation. Basically, there are three theories of group formation. One is your classic theory, another one is your social exchange theory, and social identity theory. All the theories we have discussed in depth during our discussion uh, about a group. So the classic theory has been developed by George Homans. George Homans, who developed this theory, and this theory says that the main uh, element of any group is interaction of the individual within the group. A group emerges out of the interaction of the member. Group develops on the basis of activities, interaction, and sentiments mainly. When individual or people in a group share common activities, they are more likely to interact among themselves, and this leads to development of a group, or development of a positive attitude or attraction or attachment among the members, and that leads to development of a group. And about social exchange theory, yesterday we discussed how a relationship develops, or what is the underlying reasoning while developing a relationship. We usually involve in a cost benefit analysis while developing any relationship. And this theory says that individuals form the relationship on the basis of implicit expectation of mutually beneficial exchanges. If we feel that this relationship will help me, or will benefit me, or will not put me in loss, or will not put me in trouble, then only I will indulge in a relationship or I will become a member of a group. So when I feel that by becoming a member of a group or by becoming a member or by becoming associated with some other people, I am getting some benefit, my interests are satisfied, my motive is fulfilled, my goal is achieved, my hobby, I can pursue my hobby. There are like-minded people in the group who has the same type of interest, those who are having the similar type of goal, and that will benefit me. That will not going to harm me. Then we enter into that group or we try to be a member of that group. As we try to or while developing any relationship with a particular individual also, we go through this process of cost benefit analysis. Then the third theory is social identity theory, which says that individuals get a sense of identity or self-esteem based on their membership in the group. We get, I have repeatedly said you that we become a member of the group we uh, when we get a good identity. You would never like to be a member of a group which is ill-fed, which is being criticized by others. You will always want to be a member where you feel proud of yourself or where you want to be a okay. So this is about your social identity theory. The next is about the decision making that takes place within the group. Or decision making is also one of the important aspects of any group, where we involve in a process of decision making about the roles, the norms, the rules, how the group activities will be carried out, and here everybody gives as a group member everybody gives their expert views, or if even if it is not an expert view, they give their view, their opinion about the functioning of the group after a lot of discussion, after a lot of brainstorming, after a lot of argument within the group, a decision is taken. So there are basically two phases of decision making. One is your discussion phase, where everybody voice their idea about the particular issue. Everybody gives their view, gives their opinion about the particular issue, particular topic that is under discussion, that is to be decided, or where the group is expected to take the decision about the particular topic. And then once all the pros, cons, all the views are tested, all the views are validated, all the views are taken into consideration, whether which one is the most appropriate or which will be most beneficial is decided. And in the second stage, the conclusion stage or the decision stage, where they come to a conclusion or they come to a decision, and how the decision will be carried out, and what are the allied or what are the associated decisions or associated steps they have to take along with the decision is decided in the second stage. Now we will discuss about 10 rules that governs a group, or what are the rules that are followed in a group. The first one is the group may arise from almost nothing. It may arise from almost nothing. There is not always a goal while forming a group. It may arise out of nothing. Take the example of your classroom. In your classroom, there are different small groups, and the small groups are not formed with a motive, rather they arise from their own. They develop from their own. There is no particular goal to develop, or particular intention, or particular deliberation to develop that group. For this um, as a social being, we have a desire, we have an instinct to be a member of group, and that instinct helps us to form a group. There is not always a particular reason, particular form, particular goal to develop the group, and still we develop some group. Then second rule is initiation right improve group evaluation. What is initiation right? Do you have any idea about initiation right? Okay, well, once a group is formed,
No,
Jyotin
ma'am,
bhai,
I don't have any idea.
okay. Once a group is formed, or when we enter some existing group, we cannot enter into that group free of cost. We have to pay something, whether it is in the form of some money, whether it is in the form of some intellectual ideas, it may be in the form of some physical activity, it may be in the form of showing some skill. We have to enter into that group. We cannot enter into a pre-established group freely. So you must be knowing, or you must be aware about the nuisance ragging. Why this occurs? Ragging is a form of initiation right. A group where the entrant or newcomers are ragged, strictly ragged or harshly ragged, they feel that the group is better, or they evaluate the group as a good one, a better one, the best one, the depending upon the ragging they have got. And when we pay more, we feel that the group is good or better, or the evaluation depends upon the, or the rating, or our liking for the group depends upon the more amount we pay for entering into the group. Amount here doesn't mean simply giving some money. It may be in form of some intellectual ideas. Suppose take the example of ragging. People or students who are ragged more feel that they are in a better group. Students from NIT, they are ragged more, and they feel that we are in the we are in the best college, or we are in the best group. So that's why ragging takes place. This is about your initiation rights. Then another one is group always breed conformity. Where once you enter the group, you will try to conform to the rules and regulations of the group. You will try to, we have already discussed about how we show conformity behavior, compliance behavior, obedience behavior. In conformity, we had discussed about the experiment, or the line experiment done by us, where he found that usually we conform to the opinion of others, though we feel that that is not correct, though we are convinced that we are saying the wrong thing, still we conform to the group opinion, group decision, group norms. So you must be remembering that experiment where the subject subject was in a group of nine. One was the subject, and rest 8 were the confederates, where the subject responded in a similar manner to the line assessment, and the subject responded as 11-inch line to be same as a 4-inch line, as rest of the 8 confederates or his group members responded in that way. So we usually conform to the group norm and group breeds conformity. And another one is learn the ropes or be ostracized. Group norms are to be followed by people. If we not follow the group norms, we don't follow the rules of the group, we are likely to be thrown out of the group. So following refers to, or following indirectly means that you are being accepted by the group and you are a member of the group and you will remain a member of a group. And non-following or disobeying the rules and norms refers or indirectly says that you are thrown out of the group or you are not a member of the group. And fifth rule is you become your job. So different roles are given when you enter a group. As a member of the group, you are definitely given a role. When you are not given a role, your group feeling will not be that strong. So usually we get a role in the group and we have to abide by the laws that are being designed for that role in the group. And we strongly follow or strongly believe in performing our role in the group. We try hard to perform the role given to us in the group. And this is shown in the experiment, in Stanford Prison experiment that we discussed in conformity behavior. How the subject or how the subjects followed the instruction of the experimenter, and where the subject had to act as either a prisoner or a guard in the prison. And the experiment was designed for 14 days to see how they conform to the, or how they obey to the directions or instructions given by the experiment. But it was shown that by 6th day they obeyed so strictly, or they performed their role so nicely that the experiment could not be followed up to 14 days. They acted their role very nicely, where the guard was asked to torture the prisoners. And sixth rule is the emergence of leader. Leader gain trust by conforming. Either the place or the position of a leader in a group is the highest one. He is the most obeyed. He is the most respected person in the group. And in some group they are appointed, they are imposed from outside, and in some group they emerge slowly and subtly, slowly and invisibly by performing some activities within the group, or by helping, or by showing their expertise, or by gaining the attention of others. And usually one who emerges from within slowly is a better leader compared to one who jumps into the group, or who all of a sudden emerges as a leader due to some situational condition, or someone who has been appointed or who has been imposed from outside. The members usually follow the one who emerges slowly by his capability, by his ability. Then seventh rule is group can improve its performance. That is the here mm, uh, here the concept of social facilitation can be discussed. In the presence of other, a group or an individual even performs better in the presence of others, and the presence of others facilitates his performance. Similarly, a group performs in the presence of others, and gradually the group improves his performance. And when there is competition, the performance becomes better, and the presence of other people seems to facilitate the performance. Okay, so this is group can improve the performance. And eighth rule is people will loaf within the group. This is known as loafing behavior or social loafing, that is often discussed in social psychology, where this can be explained by an example, or an experiment was done in 1890s, where people were asked to participate as a member in a team of 8. They were asked to play uh, tug of war. They were asked to play, or they were the participant of tug of war, and they were in a team of 8. And the individual effort was calculated or assessed. It was found that when they were in a team, or when they were in that team of 8, the effort they gave in the tug of war was less compared to a tug of war where they were playing individually with another individual. They were not playing in a group. One-to-one tug of war, the effort was much more as compared to a tug of war when they were participating in a team of 8. So people are likely to hide in a group easily. And when the task is additive, each person's contribution is difficult to judge, and people will like to hide or give less effort in a team or in a group. This is about social loafing. And ninth rule is the grapevine is 80% accurate. What is grapevine? How does this term grapevine come here? Any idea about grapevine? Jyotirmoy must be having some idea. That is grapevine.
No, ma'am, I don't have idea about.
You don't have any idea. Okay. In a group, we usually indulge in some type of gossip, some type of discussion about others. We usually indulge in rumor. These rumors are known as grapevine. As the grapevine spreads so fast, similarly, rumors also spread so fast, or it can be said as informal means of communication or fastest mean of communication. The name is given grapevine. Informal or informal communication or rumors are known as grapevine. And 80% of the we usually believe that rumors are fake, rumors are not valid, rumors are not true. But here it is said that the contrary view is given. 80% of the rumors, here it is written as grapevine, 80% of the rumors are always true. They are not fake, they are not false. The 80% of rumors are accurate. The 80% of the information are true. And The 10th rule is group usually encourages competition, though within group the competition is not much and it is not a problem uh, within the group, but there is competition among the or between the groups, and it also creates problem when there is competition or cooperation between groups. That can be uh, a that can lead to a difficult situation. Usually the competition is in terms of we and they, us and them. This is the situation. So these are the 10 rules of group. These are the 10 rules of that governs a group, or that helps in functioning of the group. Now come to the types of groups. There are different types. It can be primary group, secondary group, in group or we group, out group, formal group, informal group, organized group, spontaneous group, command group, task group, functional group, interest group, friend group, reference group, and temporary group. What is a primary group? When there is intimate face-to-face relationship among the members, or the members are having a we feeling. It is known as primary group. The best example of primary group is our family, or the play group of our colony, or the play group of our age mates, or the village community, or the people living in a particular locality. This is the example of primary group where they have a regular face-to-face interaction among themselves, and they have a we feeling. Of course, there is we feeling in all the groups, but here they have a stronger we feeling as they belong to a particular locality or particular area, and they have a regular face-to-face interaction within themselves. And the other group
So, ma'am,
is
basically in primary group, we have a more physical proximity.
ha, ha, ha. Physical
Okay, ma'am.
proximity matters a lot in primary group. In a family, we all live together. Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
we live in a particular roof. We spend most of the time together. Similarly, the people or the members of our age group or peer group or play group, the evening 2 hours is spent, or there is an interaction among ourselves or within the group, and the interaction is usually face to face.
So, ma'am, basically in face-to-face interaction or huge amount of physical proximity, the relation is very strong, right?
The we feeling is very strong, and
Relation
we
among
can say
the
that
in-group members, between group
feeling of
members.
between group members, or the we can here we can say the feeling of in group and out group emerges here. In our
What am I?
colony, we might be having, we are a member of particular colony, and
Yes,
within
ma'am.
within that colony also we are having different groups. The group of class 1 and 2 children, a group of 7 to 8, 9 class children in the
Ma'am, we
colony.
can say a group can have many subgroups within it.
A group can have many small groups or subgroups. And here arises the feeling of in-group and out-group. In other cases also, the students of Utkal University, the students of Ravenshaw University, the student of RD College, the students of BJB College, they are of the same group. They have a common interest. The interest or the goal of degree students in RD College is same as the goal of the degree students of BJP college. Still, there is a feeling of in group, out group. And during this pandemic time, when They are trying to cancel. They were actually, or that examination has been cancelled. And when they were trying to cancel their examination, the goal became common. They got united. The students
But the
of
gap is
all
vanished.
uh,
The gap was vanished.
the gap was vanished. That the physical boundary. This is we are from RD, we are from Bargad, we are from BJB, we are from Revisha. That gap has vanished and all became united. And at that time, they felt a we feeling, and the authority were in the opposition group. That was the out group at that
Yes,
time.
ma'am.
Or the students of plus two, they were the out group. If you have allowed the plus two students or the students of first, second, third, fourth, fifth semester, you have allowed them not to appear the exam. Why we are punished? Why we sixth year students are getting punished? So the rest of the students of rest of the semester were the members of out group, and they became the member of in group, or they got united. This is how a group operates, or this is also known as group dynamics, how if the forces act within the group. So now come to the secondary group. Here the relationships are more or less casual and are marked by common interest. As I said, the group of students, in PG, the group of students is undergraduate. The trade unions, the clubs, these are known as the secondary groups, where they have a casual relationship and it is marked by, or they have a common interest. Then comes in group or we group, where we
Is
identify
ma'am?
our
I'm sorry to
uh,
interrupt, but ma'am, when we are talking about our PG department or PG first year,
uh,
fifth year or PG sixth year group, they were of which type of group? They are primary group or secondary group?
their secondary group. Family is your primary group, where there is a face-to-face interaction. Your class is a primary group. Students of or fifth year students of Ravenshaw University, you are having regular face-to-face interaction, and the
Yes, ma'am.
we
That was
feeling
a
among yourself is strong. Even after 20 years, you will feel you are the students of, or you were the students of Ravenshaw College,
potential.
or
Yes, ma'am.
Ravenshaw College and a particular batch.
Yes, ma'am.
When
So we
you
are
mhm.
basically our PG first year or PG fifth year of a particular batch, that means to primary group
Primary group. A family,
or
simply you take the example of
yes, ma'am,
family,
or a particular
or
department of a particular college that leads to secondary group.
that is also a primary group. That can be also a primary group when you have some common interest. Okay, you are from fifth year PG department, Ravenshaw University.
Yes, ma'am. Hmm.
That can be designated as a primary group. You are a member of the athletic club of your university. That is a secondary group.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Huh? There
Thank you,
you
ma'am.
are having
I got.
some common interest, and here you are assigned to that classroom, and you are having a regular interaction, regular face-to-face interaction with your friends. But in the athletic group, you are not having a regular interaction. That is more or less a casual or a formal type of interaction, and you are having a common goal, or you are gathered there, or the group has emerged because of some common interest. Okay, but as a
Okay, ma'am.
student of fifth year, that is not that group is not emerged out of a common interest. Though you have a common interest that you will pass your PG, but that we feeling in your PG class is more compared to the we feeling in your athletic group. When you are competing with another college, then that athletic group becomes a primary group compared to that one. So this is known as group dynamics. This how this changes to that, and that improves to that, that deteriorates to that, that leads to that. This is known as group dynamics. The next one is your in group, where we identify ourselves with the group. We have some where we have some common interest, and we have a sense of we feeling that we discussed in our primary group, whether it is in primary group or secondary group. This is the um, a group can be a in group, it can be a primary group also. It doesn't mean that if you are in a primary group, that is not a in group. Understood? Don't confuse between that. We Indians are a in group. We the members of SAARC. India is a member of SAARC nations. In that, Indians are in group or we group, though we are a member of larger group, and the rest are out group. Now, in this time, rest of the world has become one group, and China has become the out group, because we all are facing the same problem. Our goal is same, our intention is same, our interest is same. We have formed almost 260 or 302 nations, 301 nation, 301 excluding China, um, has become one group, and China has become out group. Then formal group, where there are some specific rules, norms, values that has to be followed by all the members of the group, and we can say our school is a formal group. Family is not a formal group. Your play group in your colony is an informal group, but your play group or your team which is playing for your university is a formal group. When there is some specific rules, regulations, norms,
But
values.
formal group basically, leads to the officials group, right?
No, not official, an officers group. You are a formal group is one where we have to follow some rules, regulations, and
Ma'am, in every
strict
group we
rules.
have to follow
Uh,
some rules.
Not in every group. We have to follow some rules, regulations, but the strictness differs. The degree of or the rigidity differs. In some group, the rules are flexible. In your peer group, where you play in your peer group in the evening, the rules are not that much strict, but when you play in your college team, the rules are really strict. You have to put that type of uniform. But in your peer group, you are not asked to put that type of uniform. The best example is school,
Yes, ma'am.
and the informal for informal group, the best example is your play group or your peer group or your social club. Suppose you are a member of nature's lover club, you can give different pictures of the nature, or if you are a member of photography group, you can give different type of photography on the nature. But when you are a member of a school, you have to put your uniform, you have to enter the school by this time, you have to leave the school by this time, you have to give the application if you are remaining absent. All these rules, regulations are there. But there are not rules, there are not strict rules and regulations for a tuition you are going, for a group tuition you are attending. Now,
Okay, ma'am.
uh,
Okay, ma'am, I got.
for you
Thank
are
you.
going to a school to learn something, at the same time you are going to a tuition to learn something, and that tuition is also, there are some time limit, there is some you have to pay to the tuition teacher, everything is there, but you need not give a leave application if you are remaining absent. You don't have to put a uniform, you don't have to mm, you are not going to be punished, you are not going to fail in the exam taken in your tuition. But in the school, the rules are more strict, more uh, more formal. And in informal group, there are rules, but they are not that much strict. They are rather flexible. You have to follow them, but you will not be punished if you are not going to follow them. So besides these type of groups, there are some other groups that like organized group. These are organized for, or these are formed, or these groups developed for performing some specific purpose or some specific work. And the spontaneous group, they are not intentionally or deliberately formed. They form on their own, and no careful planning is required while forming a spontaneous group. And the best example can be the audience. Suppose some program is going on there, and you go there, and there the group is known, there that type of group is known as spontaneous group. And the organized group is one where school can be a organized group, which is formed for a specific purpose. Then another one is your command group. These are basically these are found in the organizational chart, where you find a supervisor and subordinate. And the command group usually is the supervisor who give commands or order to the subordinate, and they expect the subordinate to follow the order and give the output. And another one is your task group where the group is formed to perform a particular task, and hmm, once the task is done, the group dissolves, and there is usually a specific time period to perform the task, and this is known as task group. The next one is your functional group. Like the task group, this functional group is created to perform a particular function as and when required. Suppose there is a member or there is a group in your college which performs the examination or which looks after the examination. That when the examination time comes, these groups become active, and when there is no examination, this group remains silent. Again, when the time comes, they start acting, and uh, they have, or their goal is to conduct the exam peacefully and with utmost care. Then another one is your interest group. As I said, we have some interest, we have some hobbies, we want to follow our interest and our hobbies, and out of this, or the common goal here is to achieve our interest or do our hobby or satisfy our interest. Another one is your friendship group, where we involve in different type of social activity, religious activity, and these are uh, formed by people who enjoy doing the similar activities. This is friendship group. And about your group, and some other type of groups are there that is known as clique, CLIQUE. It is an informal, tight-knit group, usually in your school, in your college setting, you share some common interest, and you develop that small type of group, and that is known as clique. Another one can be a club, where you get you gather to satisfy or follow your interest, or you share some particular type of activity or interest. Another can be community, where people with a commonality uh, amalgamate to satisfy their uh, or to achieve their goal. And usually, a community is one where the people live in proximity. Then a franchise, this is an organization which runs several instances of a business in many locations. Then a gang, which we call as Khoti group. They usually hang around each other. That can be a club, uh, or much less formal to a club. Then mob is another type of group, uh, where people take the law into their own hands. And usually they gather for a short period of time and have a particular reason to gather or to form the group. And another one is a squad, which consists of 3 to 8 people, and they work as a team to accomplish a particular goal. And then comes the type of group that is known as team, that is also similar to squad, which may have more than um, 3 to 8 people, as we find in a squad. And this team also work in a fashion the squad works. Then about the roles, norms, status, and group cohesiveness. What is the and everybody in the group play a particular role in the group, and they have to meet the expectation of the other people in the group, and they have to do or perform some duties in that role. And norms refers to the rules, regulations, mutual expectation that develops within a group. And status is the relative privilege or social position given to groups or to an individual within the group. And group cohesiveness usually refers to the we feeling or the attraction among the members within the group. Without proper group structure, group cannot function properly. There should be these type of uh, there should be role, non-group status, and cohesiveness in the group to function well. So this is what all about your group. Now we will uh, discuss about cooperation and competition, but I will take 2 minutes break. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Huh.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
okay. Now we will discuss about cooperation, competition, and conflict. These are the ways of functioning within a group, or this is how we function within a group. Either we function or work in a cooperative manner, or either we compete among ourselves, or there is conflict, or it is also a type of social interaction. So, what is cooperation? Cooperation usually refers to a joint activity where we uh, help each other, or where uh, we uh, work in a facilitative way, and the presence of one always facilitates the activities of other. It can be said as a joint activity or an integrated activity. And this word cooperation has been drawn from a Latin word, from two Latin words, co and operari. These are the two Latin words that combinedly make this word cooperation. Co means together and operari means work. So working together is known as cooperation, and it usually involves two elements. One is your common end, another one is your organized effort. We work together in an organized manner to achieve a common end. It is known as your cooperation. So, it's usually a joint activity to achieve a common goal or shared rewards. Um, we can take the example of our Ganesh Puja or Saraswati Puja, where we work in a cooperative manner, or we work in cooperation with each other to achieve a common goal. The common goal is to conduct the puja smoothly, or to celebrate the puja, or to complete the Saraswati or Ganesh Puja or annual function in your college or school or in your department, where everybody in your group come forward to contribute to the occasion, and that is done in usually in an organized manner, and all of you try to make the program successful. All of you try to enjoy the program. So, what are the different types of cooperation? It can be direct, indirect, primary, secondary, or tertiary. Indirect cooperation, people do things in a group or in a cooperative manner or in an aggregative manner, which they can do independently or separately. They can do that work separately. Still, they do it in a group. That is known as direct cooperation. It examples can be playing together or worshipping together. These are the examples of direct uh, cooperation, where the people or individual perform identical function. I can worship myself. Still, I go to mandir to do Savitri Puja, because all other married women or married ladies, they also do Savitri Puja in the mandir. So this is in a cooperative manner. I can do Saraswati Puja, but with the help of my classmates, I do Saraswati Puja. So this is direct cooperation. Then about indirect cooperation, uh, it's a type of cooperation where the individual work towards a common end and each has its own specialized function. So we can say that indirect cooperation is obtained where people perform dissimilar tasks towards a common end, and each has a specialized role to play in that process. Or in achieving that goal, each has a specialized role to play. I would do this one. X does that one, Y does that one, but the common end is one. And I do a different work or a different duty, and another person does a different duty. Then primary cooperation, there is an identity of interest between the individual and the group. It is the cooperation which is found in primary groups such as families. Even in peer groups, we can say that there is primary cooperation, which can also say that the interest of individual merge with the interest of the primary group. My interest and the interest of my group is similar. These are identical, and if my interest is served, the interest of my group will be served, or if the interest of the group is served, or if the group achieves its goal, then I will also achieve my goal. Then secondary cooperation is usually the cooperation found in our government, our industry, union, church. This is known as secondary cooperation. And tertiary cooperation is the interaction between various big and small groups to face a particular situation or to solve a particular situation. For example, the bus association fighting for this fighting for the right or
Excuse me,
fighting.
ma'am.
Uh-huh. uh,
Ma'am, I can't hear you. Your voice is not clear.
my voice is not clear. Now, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
Please continue. Yes, ma'am.
Huh. So tertiary cooperation is the cooperation when there is interaction between various big and small group for a common purpose. Here the individual or the group who wants to compete with each other, they come forward and they get united and they fight for a specific purpose. And such type of cooperation, the attitude of cooperating parties are purely opportunistic. For example, when all the automobile, all the people from the auto association, the bus association, the truck association, they get combined and fight to allow them to run their buses, trucks, and auto rickshaws on the road. This can be said as a tertiary cooperation. They are distinct. They are competitors of each other. Auto is a competitor of our town bus, but they come forward, they get combined, and they fight for the demand. Then how cooperation okay, this is all about your cooperation, and the cooperation usually satisfies both our psychological and social needs, and we cannot achieve our individual goals, even the goals of our group, without cooperation. This is a basic necessity in our social life, or this is one of the blessings that we have to achieve our goal. Then about competition, cooperation means সহায়তা বা সহযোগ whereas competition means pratijogita, where we are struggling or where we are fighting or where we are trying to achieve something and which we don't allow others to achieve. And another one is your conflict, that is known as sangharsha, where there is a conflict between two groups or struggle between two groups. So it's a competition is a important form of social struggle. It's a form of social action in which we fight against each other for the possession of or the use of some limited material or non-material resources. As there is a limited supply, we feel that we might not have it, we might not get it, and at that time we indulge in a competition or we struggle to get that material thing or some non-material thing like position. We always compete to get first position in our class. That is not a material thing. Still, we try. There is competition between the colleagues to get promotion, to promote to the next level, to get the highest position in the office, to get the to be in good relation with the boss. So a competition doesn't always refers to any materialistic thing or any physical thing. It can be a position, it can be a status. So what are the characteristics of competition? It is usually a impersonal struggle where there is interaction without social contact. There is no social contact. It is not always personal. It is usually impersonal. In some cases, it can be personal. I am competing with X to get the first position because X has also the capacity to get as much mark as I can get, or he had got that much mark, or we had a difference of 2 marks in our last exam. So now I am competing with X. But usually competition is impersonal. In that case, it is personal competition. I am competing with a particular individual, and competition is a universal phenomenon. There is no society where we don't find competition. In every society, there is competition. The degree may vary, but there is competition in every society, and it is usually necessary for the progress. It has uh, competition is the effect or the result of the output of competition is usually positive, or it um, it is conducive to progress. It leads to progress. It provides the individual better opportunity to satisfy their desire for new experiences and recognition. It is mainly unconscious except in case of personal competition or rivalry, which is conscious. When we are trying to get the first position, we want to get 2 more marks than X, then that is personal and that is conscious, or else we undergo or we are always in a state of competition which is unconscious, and that type of unconscious competition is a universal phenomena, and that is impersonal. And usually competition creates emotional disturbances, and it is an innate tendency or instinct within a human being to compete. It is a social phenomena. So what are the values of competition? It has some positive values, and it has some negative values. First, it helps one to determine the status and location of the individual member in the system of hierarchy. Through competition, we can know where we stand, what is our position, what is our status in the society, in the class, in the office. It tends to stimulate economy, efficiency, and inventiveness. It enhances our ego. It prevents undue concentration of power in an individual or group of individuals. Through competition only the different parties come to power. Through competition the leadership changes. Through competition different people are assigned or given the power to exercise. It creates respect for rules for the same group. During the process of competition, we usually obey or respect the rules of the group, and it has also some negative values or negative effect. It creates frustration. It creates monopoly through competition. If the same group wins every time, then um, the winner group or the party which comes to power every time through the process of competition, he becomes autocratic. He shows monopoly. It creates conflict among the group members or within among different groups. It creates the emotional disturbances, and it develops different unfriendly, unfavorable attitude among the person or even among groups. Then next is your conflict. It usually refers to a serious disagreement or argument. It is a struggle between people which may be physical or between conflicting ideas. Conflict is not always about the physical conflict. It can be conflict of ideas. It can be inter-individual within us. We are having conflicting ideas. Most of the time, we face the conflict whether to do this or whether to do that. Whether I should do that benefits me or for, that benefits me, but it is immoral, or whether I have to be moral. That conflict always goes within us. But here we are discussing about the social conflict between two groups, two people, or it is the struggle between two groups or two individual or two group. It is conflict is the opposite of cooperation. Even competition is also the opposite of cooperation. It may lead to antagonism, violence, and threat to peace. So, what are the causes, or what is the basic reason of conflict? Conflict may arise because of individual differences. We are not same. We are not similar. We are not alike in our nature, in our attitude, interest, and personality. We differ. No two individuals are equal. No two individuals are same. So this difference may lead to conflict among us. And another one is your cultural. There is always conflict between two cultures. When two opposing culture, two contradictory culture face, the two opposing culture come in contact with each other, that may lead to conflict. Tension is created, and that may lead to conflict. When there is difference of opinion, that also lead to conflict. When there is clash of interest, that also leads to conflict. So, what are the characteristics of conflict? It is universal, but the nature or type of conflict may vary from society to society. It is usually a conscious action. It is usually the purpose of conflict is to achieve the respective goals the members oppose one another. Conflict always leads to social change. Sometimes conflict is the life of society, and progress emerges from the struggle. We face conflicts on all levels. Uh, we have conflict among the family members. We have face or we uh, among friends we have conflict. Among co-workers we have conflict. Now, unmanaged conflict is always a threat to the survival of the group, and ultimately tend to make the group less effective. Even conflict occurs within group. The effects of conflict can sometimes be positive or it can be negative. Uh, it disrupts the normal activity, it weakens the group activity, it is harmful to the individual, and um, some positive things are it helps the group to be restructured, or through conflict a new structure emerges within the group, new groups are formed. It improves the decision making process, it helps in coming to a good decision or a valid decision or a more practicable decision. Sometimes it increases bitterness among the members of the group. It creates alienation, one whose views are not considered, whose views are not followed. They feel alienated. Sometimes people get violent in their conflicting activity. It helps one to get recognition. It usually increases unity and cohesion within the group. The group, the when one group is in conflict with another group, the group cohesion increases within each of the group, and it strengthens the group boundaries. What are the types of conflict? Conflict can be overt and covert depending upon the visibility. Sometimes conflicts are manifested and sometimes these are invisible. So according to their visibility, it can be grouped as overt and covert. Some conflict can be personal, some can be corporate, some are temporary conflict, and some are perpetual conflict. Temporary conflict, we indulge in a conflict in the shop, in the road, while we meet an minor accident, or when there is traffic congestion, and some are perpetual or permanent, like the conflict between two rival groups in a village. Conflict can be personal if the conflict is between two persons or persons within a same group. It can be a racial conflict when there is conflict between two culture, two people of two races. When there is conflict between two social groups, social classes, that is known as class conflict. All of us are aware about political conflict, how two political parties conflict. There are international conflicts when people, when the countries or different countries are competition with each other. So this is about your conflict, and after cooperation, competition, conflict, we accommodate to the situation, and accommodation is the resolution of conflict, which means adjourning oneself to the new situation or new decision or the conclusion. It is the process by which the individual and the group make the necessary internal adjustment to the social situation which has been created by this competition or conflict. Competition or competition and conflict create such a situation that the individual is under some pressure or the group is under some pressure, and they adopt the principle of accommodation, or they accommodate to that newer situation to make peace with the problem. So this is about your accommodation. One more thing I wanted to tell you about crowd, how crowd behavior, what is crowd psychology, but it's already time. Crowd can be active crowd, inactive crowd, and different theories of crowd are there. The one is your classical theory, one is your convergence theory, and one is your group mind theory. Um, what is audience? Mob is a crowd which involves in some violent activity to achieve a specific purpose, but crowd is not, crowd doesn't involve in any type of violent activity, they simply gather to do something or do some activities like a group of people watching a show. It can be people who are gathered to see or to watch a street quarrel or conflict in between neighbors in the neighborhood. These are the things that comes under your group and group behavior. Okay. So,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
हाँ, okay. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Fine.
Have a good day,
Thank you.
ma'am.